gotta I ain't gotta
But we should spar.
I ain't gotta up.
We should spar.
Best. I want to show the world that I'm the best. After this fight, I want to be considered top 5 pound for pound fighter in the sport, and I can't really show it.
You said this week that you were in for a rude awakening when you get to 140. What do you think he's in for when he goes up against you?
I think he just don't realize how good I am. I think come fight night, he's going to realize that I'm going to take it to another level that he has never seen before. So if he's expecting the Lomachenko, the Josh Taylor fight to happen, it won't be that type of fight. Senior, tell him, we talking to senior, we ain't talking to little dude over here. Senior,
Fight is a different version of it. And I love it because even the people out there don't know what they're going to get from it. And that's the beauty about it. He could be studying, he could be doing a lot of things, but he's not going to know until the day of the fight.
Terence Crawford delivers a serious and unmistakable warning to Teofimo Lopez, making it clear that underestimating Shakur Stevenson would be a dangerous mistake. Crawford's message carries weight, not only because of his status in boxing, but because it comes from first-hand experience at the highest level. His tone suggests that this is not trash talk or speculation, this is a seasoned champion speaking from deep understanding of elite-level competition. Crawford emphasizes that overlooking Shakur's abilities could have severe consequences once the bell rings.
The sky is the limit with Shakur. He got the boxing skills and the ability to, do whatever he wants in the ring. And it's going to be very hard to beat Shakur, with the skills that he possesses and the smarts that he has. And given the opportunity, I think he can pose a great threat to everybody in the division.
I look up to Bud a lot. Honestly, he one of the realest dudes that I done met. He's still a normal person in his head. Like, he don't believe that he's above everyone else. And that's how I feel about myself.
You see me around a lot. Don't act like you ain't seen me around them days. He said I do.
Bud, come on. Terence talking, I try not to talk back. I try to just listen.
Straight, boom, straight shot. Like right here, boom, there you go. But you gotta make sure you step. Bam. That's when the motherfucker trying to run out.
Crawford goes deeper into his assessment, explaining that Shakur Stevenson's timing, accuracy, and ring IQ make him exceptionally dangerous against any opponent. According to Crawford, Shakur's defense is not passive, it is designed to set traps. He draws opponents in, reads their habits, and creates openings for clean, punishing counters. Crawford warns that if Teofimo rushes forward or fights recklessly, Shakur has the skill and composure to capitalize immediately. In Crawford's view, a careless approach could lead to Teofimo getting seriously hurt or even knocked out.
I'm gonna just say all of them. It don't matter who they is. He ready for the big test and the big names, and he's going to do well with each and every one of them. And
in another tense moment, Terence Crawford confronts Teofimo Lopez directly. The exchange is serious, uncomfortable, and impossible to ignore. Crawford challenges Teofimo's mindset, questioning whether he fully understands what Shakur Stevenson brings to the table. There is no humor or exaggeration in the moment, only a blunt warning. Crawford makes it clear that ignoring Shakur's technical ability, discipline, and intelligence in the ring could lead to very real consequences on fight night. Crawford confidently states that Shakur Stevenson will show the world exactly who he is when the moment arrives. He believes Shakur's discipline, timing, and defensive awareness separate him from most fighters at the top level. According to Crawford, once Shakur steps fully into the spotlight, fans will finally recognize his patience, control, and mastery of distance. Crawford explains that Shakur doesn't waste movement or energy, everything he does has purpose. He also reflects briefly on his own past fights, drawing parallels between experience, growth, and understanding the game at an elite level.
Excellent. He was sharp. He was letting his hands go. He was staying in the pocket more. He probably got hit just a little bit too much because he was trying to please everybody that's saying, oh, he can't do this, he can't do that. I talked to him and told him, just be yourself. Just keep winning. It doesn't matter what the naysayers say and what the people that's having certain agendas against them.
Dan Canobio and Chris Algieri break down the Stevenson versus Lopez matchup from both boxing and business perspectives. They explain that Matchroom's control over the Anthony Joshua card makes a PBC crossover highly unlikely. From a career standpoint, they believe that if Teofimo loses, Shakur will remain at 140 pounds and will not return to 135, a move that almost never happens in modern boxing. The analysts describe 140 as a deep and exciting division filled with dangerous opponents. They also point out that Shakur tends to struggle least against brawlers, while elite counterpunchers present the toughest challenges. This reality makes certain fan-favorite fights unlikely despite public demand.
The Joshua card, so therefore we're not going to put a PBC fighter on it. Anyway, Gary Antoine, I mean, all these fights are good. Like, if Teofimo ends up losing to Shakur, Shakur goes into this fix, and I do think Shakur will stay at 140 for a little bit. So, and you also have
I think he stays from now on. I don't think he goes back to 35.
Yeah, it's very rare we see these guys go down after they go up. You got to add in Shakur, you got to add in Pitbull Cruz, you got to add in Lamont Roach. There's some other good names on 140 as well, but yeah, I would say Smith presents something to this puzzle at 140 is that he's from England and he can sell over there. And if you're Hitchens, who's not the biggest ticket seller here in New York, and you want a unification, you think you could beat Dalton Smith, you might have to go overseas to do it, where you could make a lot more money. Gary Antoine Russell versus Smith stylistically is great. Shakur versus Dalton Smith is stylistically great. Shakur, it's just a fun division.
I don't want to see that.
What?
I don't want to see Shakur and Dalton.
I put that one at like 1% chance of ever happening.
I don't want to see that.
Even though, like, you don't think Smith presents like he's more of like would be the brawler in the Shakur scenario? I know he would be.
Yeah, that's the
Shakur
worst style to fight
wildly...
Shakur. It's the worst style. You have to counterpunch Shakur. Just like with De Los Santos. He was the guy who gave Shakur the most trouble.
Yeah, but Zepeda gave Shakur the best, most aesthetically pleasing fight, but not that Smith's going to throw 100 punches around.
Completely different style, though. Zepeda and Dalton aren't you can't compare them. That's apples and oranges. Yeah, no, I don't know.
But in terms of a guy coming forward.
But is Dalton really that?
Dan Canobio and Chris Algieri break down the Stevenson versus Lopez matchup from both boxing and business perspectives. They explain that Matchroom's control over the Anthony Joshua card makes a PBC crossover highly unlikely. From a career standpoint, they believe that if Teofimo loses, Shakur will remain at 140 pounds and will not return to 135, a move that almost never happens in modern boxing. The analysts describe 140 as a deep and exciting division filled with dangerous opponents. They also point out that Shakur tends to struggle least against brawlers, while elite counterpunchers present the toughest challenges. This reality makes certain fan-favorite fights unlikely despite public demand.
Shakur Stevenson is bigger than Teofimo Lopez. Despite him moving up in weight, and despite Teo being the champion, we got some action. And in this video, I'm going to show and prove and break it down. I'll make it make sense in this video. You got to stay to the end. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Ego Weight Watchers, aka Ill, where I give you a look into the fighter's lifestyle before, after, progress pics, especially when they have an upcoming fight. I warned you, Shakur, I have no idea why he tried to play this game where when people got up.
Bernie the Boxer provides a detailed breakdown of why Shakur Stevenson stands out against Teofimo Lopez. He explains that Shakur is not a fighter who can be underestimated or easily neutralized. Unlike boxers who depend on brute force or one-dimensional strategies, Shakur brings a multifaceted approach to the ring. He combines technical precision with strategic intelligence, making him unpredictable. Bernie notes that opponents often mistake Shakur's calm demeanor for passivity, but that assumption is dangerous. In reality, Shakur's ability to read opponents and adapt in real time allows him to exploit openings instantly. This blend of patience, timing, and execution gives Shakur a clear edge against high-level fighters like Teofimo.
But couldn't beat a one-handed guy. And if you go back and watch that fight, like I'm saying, Shakur wasn't just running. Jermaine Ortiz really moved a lot on Teo. That never happened with Shakur Stevenson and fighting this guy. That never happened. So De Los Santos is De Los Santos. He got a reputation off of that. That boosted his reputation. I don't know why. He didn't do nothing to Shakur. He didn't wobble him, didn't hurt him, didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? And the man was one-handed. So, but shout out to De Los Santos. Like I say, I think he's more risk than reward. Actually, that'll be a great fight for Abdullah Mason in his first title defense. That'll be a great fight for him in his title defense. That'll be a good. They should use him for that
instead of Joe Cordina.
Yeah, Joe Cordina was rough too, though. I watched him against the kid from Fresno. What's the kid's name? I forget his name. They was pushing him, but he just ain't there. He took a lot of punishment. He probably need to go get a job. Gabriel Flores. Gabe Flores. Yeah, Gabe Flores. Yeah. He from Fresno, or he from Sacramento. He from the Bay Area.
He just be training. He be training.
Yeah. So I would say I would say that, you know what I mean? Because Abdullah Mason is the guy. I think he got a lot of potential. And like I said, him fighting a guy like De Los Santos is almost like a Bud fight Gamboa in his first title defense. You know what I mean? So that would be a great fight for Abdullah Mason. You know what I mean? And he's more known than Joe Cordina. You know what I mean? And given the controversy that he's been in, you know what I'm saying? The way he's perceived as kind of feared, that'll be a great fight for Abdullah Mason.
Damn, my boy Bernie said that's like Gamboa versus Crawford for his first title defense. That shit is fire.
Yeah.
Terence Crawford adds another layer to the discussion, praising Shakur Stevenson in a brotherly and supportive manner. He addresses critics who label Shakur as boring, explaining that such opinions fail to grasp the depth of his skill. Crawford emphasizes that Shakur's brilliance lies in control. He dictates the flow of a fight while minimizing risk. His decisions are calculated, his defense intelligent, and his offense efficient. Crawford notes that true boxing fans recognize that greatness isn't always loud or flashy. Shakur's mastery is subtle, built on precision, discipline, and measured aggression. Those who underestimate him, Crawford says, are missing the full picture.
Shakur. Are you saying that because that's your man and you don't like Tank?
No. Hey, like I said, I respect Tank. Boxing, he's one of the ones.
Yeah.
we gonna take his personality and personal things out of it. But boxing, he's definitely talented. You know what I mean? And he's definitely got that it. And he's definitely respected in boxing. But Shakur's a different fighter. Shakur's different. People may call him boring. People may say he can't punch. But they said the same thing about Floyd. Because they defensive.
Shane Mosley weighs in, focusing on how styles will ultimately determine the outcome of the fight. He explains that power, speed, patience, and timing all play crucial roles, but it is how these elements interact that decides who takes control. Mosley points out that Shakur's patience can neutralize raw aggression, while Teofimo's explosive power can challenge even the most composed fighter. The key factor, according to Mosley, is adaptability. Who can impose their style while adjusting to the opponent's strengths? This makes the fight a true test of tactical intelligence as much as physical ability.
Shakur Stevenson's going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. Shakur Stevenson has a very strong style where he can sit back and pot shot you and box and stuff like that, where Teofimo can also box and is very athletic and can get from side to side and can make things difficult for you as well. So what style is going to impose on the other is what we want to see.
So which style will impose? Is it something where like the first rounds really will dictate, or?
I think you're going to need a couple of rounds, but the first round is going to be very interesting. Maybe you see some some tails, but I think maybe 2 or 3 you're gonna start seeing one lead the other. Because I don't think that. Well, maybe. I mean, Shakur might show some different. If he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen, or different type of fighting we haven't seen, and vice versa. You know, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle, that is kind of giving Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that.
Boxing analyst Wade examines the matchup through the lens of preparation and study. He explains that both Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson have likely spent years analyzing similar styles due to their backgrounds in elite amateur and professional systems. This shared familiarity creates a scenario where adjustments and counters become critical. Wade notes that both fighters possess the technical foundation to execute complex strategies, turning the fight into a high-level chess match. Small adjustments and split-second decisions could ultimately decide the winner.
So there's probably not guys that know how they operate better. So if Teo is saying, I'm going to go out there and make you quit, essentially break you and stop you, that's something we haven't seen anyone get close to even hurting Shakur, really. Like, people say the Williams-Zepeda fight, Zepeda hit him with the right hand and Shakur got wobbled, even though it was clearly slipped. I thought that was one of Shakur's better performances because he dug down and bit down on his mouthpiece and said, I'm not just going to play the back foot and be slick and turn this into a very low output fight that I'll win because I'm just, he's better than Zepeda. But he went out there and dogged it out a little bit, and I respected him for it. I don't expect him to fight the same way versus Teofimo Lopez. I really don't. And I think people are looking at the Zepeda fight and going, yeah, that's the Shakur we want. And I don't want to say he's going to disappoint people, but he will not fight that way. He won't. And Teo won't fight the same way Williams Zepeda did. They'll both be very measured. I think it'll be a very slow-paced, low-output fight. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could see maybe they go to war or something, but we're talking about styles making fights, and Teo's style, even if he's on his front foot, he doesn't commit to a lot of punches on the front foot, but he can fight that way. Shakur almost exclusively wants to go defense to offense versus leading the exchange. So I don't know. Not to say Shakur will be on the back foot the whole time. That's not necessarily how I see the fight going, but I don't know if this is going to be like a knockdown, drag him out type of thing. I think we're going to get a defensive, sweet science display from both guys, which, by the way, I think works in Shakur's favor.
You said on there that Terence Crawford sent one of his little guys to come after you, implying that obviously you want a fight event.
Lamont Roach highlights Shakur Stevenson's mastery of ring control, praising his footwork, timing, and anticipation. He explains that controlling the ring isn't just about movement, it's about creating angles, maintaining balance, and setting traps. Shakur excels in all of these areas, allowing him to dictate pace while conserving energy. By forcing opponents into unfavorable positions, he can apply pressure without overcommitting. Roach emphasizes that this tactical control is a major reason Stevenson is viewed as a superior boxer at this stage of his career.
Some people thought he lost to Sando Martin. Who else?
He did beat Loma, who's arguably at the time considered
Hell
the
yeah.
best in the
He
world.
did, and that was a hell of a performance too. A hell of a performance too. So yeah, I mean, I think he's hit or miss. You got to think he got stuff. He a little cuckoo too. Like he has like a little mental lapses every once in a while. Look at the Kambosos fight. Like, that's a fight that people would never expect Kambosos to win. And he won a grueling match against him as well. So I just, I don't know. I don't think he can get it done against Shakur when it comes to like, because it's going to be just a skill match. I don't think he's going to try to, he's going to try to rough Shakur.
Paulie Malignaggi offers insight into how Teofimo Lopez is perceived heading into major fights. He notes that Teofimo is often underestimated, especially when matched against a technically refined fighter like Shakur Stevenson. This imbalance in public perception can shape media narratives, but it does not reflect Teofimo's true abilities. Instead, it adds an extra psychological layer to the fight. With high stakes, contrasting styles, and intense scrutiny, both fighters face mental and physical challenges that will test their preparation, resilience, and determination.
Because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? If it's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like it's a big threat here to Shakur. And then it would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back into the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just...
That brings us to the end of today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, analysis, and coverage as this highly anticipated matchup continues to build momentum. Until next time.